Shalom, Meshpuka. Back with another Life Within the Borders Part 3. I had many people asking me about would there be a Part 3, and I had started working on putting together notes for Part 3. I just never got around to do it, and so this is Part 3, Life Within the Borders. I had to go back and listen to Part 1 and Part 2. You see here, Part 1 got removed from YouTube, so Part 1 is over here on archive, and it's Part 2 is on YouTube. So I had to go back and listen to Part 1 and Part 2 and make sure I don't say the same things over again. It's been over a year now. This video got a couple years. It's been a couple years since Part 2. So you can imagine I had to go back and listen to what I had to say. All right. Number one, you have to know there is life outside of Babylon. Our people are trapped in this maze, and they think they can't think outside of Babylon. You're in the box. You're stuck in the box. There is life outside of Babylon. And most of our people, it's unthinkable to go to another country, let alone to stay in another country and not come back to Babylon. We've been living over here for years. Many of us, we've been over here for years, and we are right. We got the Most High with us. We're doing great. He's been helping us. He's been teaching us. We're not in the filth of Babylon. Don't believe the lie, you can't come out of her. One thing you have to understand, I didn't do this in Part 1 or Part 2. When you come out and you come within the borders, you're going to be around Ishmael. And according to Genesis 16, 11 and 12, and a malach of Yahuah said to her, Behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahuah has heard your affliction. He shall be a wild man. You gotta understand, Ishmael is a wild man. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna take a walk on the wild side of Ishmael. We know the difference between Ishmael and Edom. We grew up with Edomites. They love to hunt. Edom is a hunter. He can be wild, but he's not a wild man. He walks in decency and in order. He dressed nice. That's Edom. He dressed in fine threads, expensive clothing. A wild man doesn't care nothing about expensive clothing. He's a wild man. And Ishmael does not hunt. Edom loved to hunt. Got the lie going around saying Ishmaelites are Edomites or Edomites are Ishmaelites. So when you come over here, this will help you to know and understand he's a wild man. His hand shall be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Listen, they over here dwelling together. They didn't get scattered in all the world. They're dwelling together in shalom. He's dwelling together in shalom with his brother. The only time they get any type of hardship or affliction is when other countries come in their countries and fight wars. This caused trouble for him. But other than that, he didn't get scattered. If he's in other countries, which he is, he went on his own. So, number one, this is something, of course, you come over here, you're going to see this. The Muslim women, we're going to talk about the Muslim women for a minute. The Muslim women, they are riding motorcycles. When I first saw this, I cringed. I felt like they're going to fall off. I'm going to watch this woman fall off, because this is not how you sit on a motorcycle. She's going to fall off and another car going to run her over. This is unsecure here. This is not how you're supposed to sit, but since they have on the long dress, they don't straddle the motorcycles. They turn sideways and they sit on the motorcycle, and down the street they go, in and out of traffic. We will see an entire family on one motorcycle. You can see a motorcycle with 4 and 5 men. This motorcycle, husband, wife, sitting sideways, and 3 girls. She looks to be 3, 4 years old. You will see them as young as infant babies. Yes, I've seen mothers sitting sideways, holding their infant babies. This is what you're going to see. You're going to see this. This is a wild man doing wild things. What else did I see? I've seen this. You got 2 men carrying animals on a motorcycle. They will carry, I've seen 2 men, and I looked and I'm like, what in the world? A sheep, a huge sheep between the men. This picture you see, they got 2 of them here. But he will carry animals on the motorcycle with him. I hadn't seen the cow. This man, he got a cow. I hadn't seen the cow yet, but I'm sure they will do that also. So it takes a wild man to do something like this. So you may ask yourself a question: how come? Where's the police? Where are they? They're just walking around like nothing going on. This is normal to them. A little baby, notice, where's that picture? Little kids with no helmets on, nobody with helmets on. This is normal. The things that go on over here, it's normal to them. We look at it and shake our head like, whoa, what are they doing? A wild man, the police, wow. All right. I also, let me see, I want to mention, the men's shoes. Listen, the people over here, the Arabs, the men are very short. They're short as statue, just like the men in the past and the old. We're tall. We're the ones that's tall and long, average 6 foot tall, when they're much shorter. Well, that creates a problem for our men when we come over here. What are you talking about? What I did mention in the other 2 videos, a man wearing a size 11 or a size 12, the average man in America will be wearing a size 11 or 12 in shoes. We have problems finding our right size. This is a problem that we've seen, that we've ran into. It's a problem because the men's feet are so small. They have small feet and they're small in stature. Most of them are short. They're fairly short. Another thing about the shoes, it's dry and it's dusty. That equals dry plus dirt, and dust equals dry rot. The shoes will have a tendency to dry rot, especially you coming over here, you don't have a vehicle and you start doing a lot of walking. The shoes, they have a tendency to dry rot because of the way they make the shoes in America. I see this. I'm looking at my paper. I see people coming over here and they realize I help people. They come out, they get within the borders. I continue to communicate with them through email, and they find out that if they're trying to find a place, it's difficult. You're trying to find a location, it's difficult. A specific place, a specific hospital, someone's house, it's difficult. Your own job. They don't like giving out address. They don't do address. They act as if they are allergic to address. So don't expect to get an address from someone. They will send you a location on the map. That's it. Then you have to find it. Street signs. You won't see street signs. What name of the street? I lived on the street that we lived on for some time, and I'm walking past the corner every day. I don't see no street sign. One day I looked down, and lo and behold, I saw the name, someone probably that lived in the corner house. They put the name of the street like on the bottom of the wall. And you got to look very, very close. You won't see it. Of course, you won't see street lights, stop signs. He's a wild man. He drives with no street lights and no stop signs. This is how he rolled. This is what they are used to. And these are some of the things we would have to get used to. Let's see. Okay, I want to mention. I should have already mentioned this when I was talking about the Muslim women riding sideways on a motorcycle. The Muslim women, men, understand when you come over here. Of course, there are different levels of their belief. Some of them are die-hard believers. Some of them are just, straddlers. They just say they Muslims. Like Christians, they say they Christians, but they don't really live like the preacher or whoever teaching them saying they should live. They're just proclaiming it with their lips. But then you have real hardcore Muslim women. Be careful of these Muslim women. What am I talking about? I mean, come over here. We don't understand. A man cannot touch a Muslim woman, a real diehard. And you will meet one or two. You stay over here a while. And if you touch them, they're gonna look at you with the meanest look. I had to deal with this. I didn't even touch her. I'm sitting on the bus. I have to pass money up. I used the money to tap her because I know the rules. I didn't touch her. I used the money to touch her. She turned around and gave me a mean, evil look. I did it a couple more times. Finally, she had to open her mouth. But make sure you understand. You see, they live a cleaner life than the people ever thought about living in America. Christianity, what did we do? They had us hugging and kissing other men's wives in the church. Because Paul said, greet each other with a kiss. That stuff was wicked, y'all. That was wicked to the core. We were not supposed to be touching men's wives, let alone kissing on them, but that's where we come from. So men, you're in the store. If a Muslim woman put your money on the counter, she doesn't want to touch you. She will put your money on the counter. Don't feel bad, just pick it up. This happened to me. I don't feel bad. I don't feel any kind of way. We're supposed to be humble. Remember why you're over here. That stuff should not bother you. In America, if someone put our money on the counter, we get hot and angry. Well, guess what? You're not in America. And she's not putting it on the counter because of the reason why they do it in America. Apartments. I mentioned apartments. I mentioned prices. We done something that we didn't do. We went to we saw pictures of an apartment and it was really nice. I'm talking stonework, real stone within the kitchen area, the living room kitchen area. The place was nice and it was really, really cheap. We couldn't believe it. So we had to go see it. And sure enough, it was nice. It was a nice apartment. How much was it? $2,500 for 3 bedrooms and 2 baths? That was a nice apartment, very, very, very cheap. Of course, unfurnished. But what was the problem? Why was it so cheap? There's a reason why. It was the area. It was the area. So when you find apartments at a dirt cheap price, you get what you pay for. Our people are looking for dirt cheap. And when they get it, they may not like it. So be careful. Be careful for the dirt cheap. Our people come in looking for dirt cheap. And it's not always worth it. Like I said, there is life outside of Babylon. The Most High he's taking care of his children. And his children doing the things A lot of us doing the things that we are to do outside of Babylon, operating outside of Babylon. Shalom.